So today we're going to Sao Paulo, Brazil. Not the best at pronouncing this name. Warning, today's episode includes murder. So, Suzane Louis von Richthofen.
Creative name.
I'm butchering this name, but I'm also extremely buzzed.
We'll just call her Susan.
Yeah, we're just going to call her Susan. Susan was born November 3rd, 1983. Suzane's father, Manfred, was a German engineer and her mother, Marisa, Brazilian of Lebanese descent, working as a psychiatrist. Suzane had a younger brother named Andreas, who was born in 1987. Suzane studied at a German high school and then went on to study law at a Catholic university. So she was known to be happy, a little shy, and was known to have a really good relationship with her family. In summer of 1999, she attended a Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Okay, I'm totally butchering that. She took a class where she met and began relationship with Daniel Cravenhas de Paula e Silva.
So we'll just call him Craven.
So we'll just call him Daniel, which is his first name.
Daniel. That's a good. Never mind.
Daniel.
That's better.
Yes. With Daniel. It was said that their relationship started very quickly. At first, the parents were okay with the relationship, but that didn't last long. Daniel was smoking weed 24/7, he didn't have a job, and he wasn't going to school. He wasn't doing anything with his life to her parents. So they were pressuring Suzane to break up with Daniel. But no, of course, she's a teenager, and she's not going to break up with him just because her parents say that. She's a teenager, she's in love, and she thinks she knows everything. So
that's every single teenager.
I've been there. I've done that. Not too long after her parents went on vacation for a month. I don't know where they went on vacation. I couldn't find where. But during the time that they were away, Suzane moves Daniel in with her. Her parents returned after the month of their vacation. And Suzane asked her parents if they would buy her own apartment. During this time, Suzane is still a teenager, and she wanted to live with Daniel. That way she could have some freedom and just do whatever she liked.
Sick.
Pretty much, yes, but I mean, if she's home with him for a month, they probably did the deed several times.
And he doesn't have a job?
It probably did. I feel like it's not just for that. She just wants her own freedom. Anyways, her father quickly shut this down. She was not allowed to live with Daniel, who in their eyes was a horrible influence. But Suzane's mother and father said, you can move out, but you have to pay for everything on your own. You have to earn your own way to an apartment, which wasn't okay with Suzane. Everything had already been handed to her entire life. She's thinking, why the hell would I work for something now? Like, just give me everything. So Suzane continued to see Daniel, which just put a strain on the relationship with her parents, and her parents were still pushing her to break up with him. So they finally said, you need to stop seeing him or we're taking your allowance away. Now granted, I'm not sure when all of this is happening, but in 2001, I believe, she turned 18, okay?
Okay.
So during this time, she is still receiving an allowance way after she should have been.
Well, that's her teenage years, and we can assume 3, 4, 5 years maybe.
So October 31st, 2002, Suzane and her brother went to a cyber cafe to play video games and meet up with some friends, and then Suzane met up with Daniel and Daniel's older brother. His name was Christian. So Daniel is 21 and Christian is 26. So earlier that day, Suzane had deactivated the cameras at her parents' house and she turned off the alarm system. So like anybody can get on the property. In the late hours of October 31st, 2002, Suzane, who had planned the murder of her parents for months, checked if they were already asleep. She then opened the front gate for her boyfriend, Daniel, and his brother, Christian, who had been waiting outside. The brothers then went upstairs to the parents' bedroom and struck them with iron bars before strangling them with towels. Suzane was waiting in the living room downstairs. After the murder was accomplished, the three staged a break-in by pocketing money they found, spreading papers in the library, and creating a mess in the house. Suzane and Daniel then went to a motel while Christian ate at a fast food restaurant. Early in the morning, Suzane and Daniel picked up her little brother, Andreas, at an internet cafe and went home where they discovered the crime scene, called the police, and told them their story. However, investigating officers had doubts that the crime was a burglary and suspected that the perpetrators were known to the victims. They soon began to question the children and the employees of the family. Police were suspicious of not only the crime scene with the alarm system switched off and the papers spread very regularly as if by design, but also Suzane's cold behavior. She was seen in the house swimming with Daniel the day after the murder and celebrated her 19th birthday with friends just after the parents' burial.
She's stupid. She didn't play this very well.
No, I mean, she's a teenager. How would she know any better? The investigators began shadowing Suzane and Daniel. They also learned that Christian had bought a motorcycle a few days after the murders and had paid in cash 100 Brazilian reals, well above his normal income levels. A few days later, on November 9th, 2002, he, Daniel, and Suzane were all arrested. Suzane soon confessed to the murder. Suzane was released from prison in May of 2005 when the Supreme Federal Court granted her habeas corpus.
Well, that seems pretty easy since you just kind of helped kill your parents.
Well, she was still awaiting trial while this was happening. On June 5th, 2006, Suzane, along with Daniel and Christian, were put on trial in Sao Paulo for homicidio qualificado, the equivalent of first-degree murder in Brazilian law. The trial was delayed and finally started on July 17th. On trial, Suzane blamed Daniel for everything while the brothers claimed that they acted on her wishes. Prosecutor Roberto Tardelli, however, called Suzane the mastermind of the crime. Robert Tardelli called for 50 years imprisonment for each of the three defendants. Suzane was described as personification of the evil blonde. On July 22, 2006, Suzane was sentenced to 40 years in prison for the crime. Daniel got the same sentence, and his brother Christian was sentenced for 38 years for conspiracy. As of February 2020, she is still in custody in the women's prison outside Sao Paulo. So Suzane's family had been listed as 5.5 million real, declared their net worth. That was their net worth.
Holy cow!
Which is equivalent to about $1 million US. However, the prosecutors suspected that two anonymous accounts in the Swiss banks containing at least 10 million reals were opened by Suzane's father in Suzane's name in November of 2001 when she turned 18.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
And then she killed him,
oh my goodness, isn't that a kick in the ass? Don't kill your parents, kids.
Suzane's father is thought to have embezzled this money from Dursa, which he worked, and nothing prevents Suzane from gaining access to the money after serving her sentence.
So she can access the money whenever her sentence is over.
Which is in 20 years.
Which is in 20 years.
Which should be 57.
Her life is basically, that should be older than 57.
No, she will be
40
57.
years? Oh, I guess you're right. Never mind.
It was in 2006.
Yeah, math.
So no, 30 years.
Half of her life is over. More than half.
Yeah, but I mean 57, it's not like it was 20,
With
30
$10 million?
years ago. Kris Jenner is 60-some years old. And she's still fine. She's still living her life, doing whatever she wants. Seemingly healthy. So this case generated sufficient media attention in Brazil due to the stark contrast between the brutal crime and what was initially perceived to be the personality of the daughter. While the brothers fit the stereotype of the uneducated, unemployed, drug-addicted killers, this was not true for Suzane. She was a pretty girl from an upper-middle-class family of German and Lebanese descent. Well-behaved, always doing well at school, speaking 3 foreign languages, and doing ballet. A discussion emerged from the Brazilian public about the worth of the family values and that effects of education does a high standard of education and high-class status lead to good character. The question as to whether Suzane was evil mind behind the crime or just Daniel's tool was also widely discussed. Suzane's reputation was severely damaged by a TV interview which a hot mic before the interview started captured her lawyer instructing her to cry out loud during the broadcast to create public sympathy. The interview dealt a major blow to her credibility in court. Suzane's behavior was reported as cold, at one occasion laughing, which stood in contrast to the brothers who were emotional and visibly crying during the trial.
That just goes to show, don't kill your parents. You don't know what they're going to do for your 18th birthday. Might be a brand new car, might be that $10 million. You never know. Be nice. If you're a teenager out there, and we all go through this, we all go through our phase where we know everything, we're grown, we're adults, your parents know better.